Fox News Alert, you are looking live at the Detroit Economic Club, where Donald Trump is set to lay out the plan he claims will get America back on track, as the Republican nominee seeks to turn the page and focus on a subject considered his strong suit: the economy. This is Outnumbered. I'm Sandra Smith. Here today, host of Kennedy on Fox Business Kennedy. Also from FBN, co-host of After the Bell, Melissa Francis. Democratic strategist Julie Roginski is here, and there he is, today's hashtag One Lucky Guy, the perfect guy for today's show, as I mentioned, host of Lou Dobbs Tonight. Veteran anchor Lou Dobbs is here, and he is outnumbered. And what a day to have you, as we are set to hear from Mr. Trump on the economy in a few minutes.
Yeah, it's a terrific day. It's exciting and political sense, because he has to change direction, change the conversation, if you will, and demonstrate clearly and consistently that he can remain on message and go after his opponent, who is, after all, Hillary Clinton.
All right, well, let's dig right into the details of that economic policy speech that he is set to deliver in the city that has become a symbol of America's manufacturing decline. The GOP nominee will spell out his plan to create jobs for the millions of Americans out of work and make America more competitive. Among the proposals, reducing the corporate tax rate to 15%, which is way lower than the current 35% rate. Revive the Keystone Pipeline, temporarily freeze new federal regulations, and call for an end to Obamacare. Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort says Trump's speech will get his campaign back to where it belongs.
The campaign is a 3-month campaign. We're at the beginning. Starting Monday, we're going to be announcing our economic plan. When we do that, we're comfortable that we can get the agenda and the narrative of the campaign back on where it belongs, which is comparing the tepid economy under Obama and Clinton versus the kind of growth economy that Mr. Trump wants to build.
Hillary Clinton's camp already blasting the plan as Trumponomics, saying if he wins, you lose. And Hillary herself will also speak to the Detroit Economic Club later this week, where she is expected, Lou, to present a clear contrast from Trump's campaign plan for the economy. What do you expect today?
Well, I expect him to lay out, as you just suggested, a plan on taxation. I think he will talk about trade in some certain terms. I think he will also talk about infrastructure, the importance of getting this economy going back to historical norms when it comes to growth, that is above 3%. And I think he has an excellent, first of all, it's the historic venue for presidential nominees to deliver this address. He is now put, by the way, just in scheduling, he has already put Hillary Clinton in the Me Too speech category, as she will follow Thursday. Rebuttal time, but still no new ideas from the Democratic nominee.
Kennedy, how big is this moment?
It's really big because it not only allows him to reset, it allows him to contrast, which I think is really important. And, you know, she will have to parrot him on trade and infrastructure spending. I actually think he should stay away from that stuff and focus on the positives. Focus on lowering that corporate tax rate and how that brings jobs and investment into this country. The economy clearly needs an infusion of easy cash. And also talk about getting rid of that death tax. It's something that he has proposed before, but this is great news for the dead and dying.
You know, when you look around this country, it's very clear what the problem is in terms of economics. It's that the middle class has disappeared, and that's supported by data from the census, data from the government. We've seen those jobs go away. Why is that? 2 reasons. You know, they've gone overseas, but there's also a lot of them have been automated away. We don't have the same manufacturing jobs. The only answer is to train and retrain. What jobs are out there? They're in healthcare, and there's a lot in automation and computer coding and robotics. That's what we have to teach our young people. But when you hear from Hillary Clinton, her ideas are exactly the same as Barack Obama. She says spending from the government, we're going to do infrastructure spending, and we're going to do green energy. And I would say, has it worked over the past 8 years? I mean, the gap has gotten bigger, the rich have gotten richer, the poor have gotten poorer. If you want that to continue, go to her plan. His plan is saying, instead of having a speed bump in the road that is the government for corporations, let's pave the road. Let's unleash technology. Let's unleash innovation. Let's get companies motivated to invest, to train workers, to bring jobs back. That is growth.
All right, so we're awaiting the speech, Julie. And will Donald Trump, with his words today, be able to change the conversation from last week, which there was a list of controversies that plagued his campaign.
We keep having this discussion on the couch, I think, once a week, if not more often, about how this is it. This is the Trump pivot. This is going to be the day that he focuses on substance.
This is the 47th time we've done it.
Exactly. And I'll say to you what I've said last week and the week before and the month before and 6 months ago, which is that he's fundamentally incapable of doing that. I have heard 3 people on this couch lay out a wonderful message that Donald Trump can run with. By the way, to just make a point, he wants to double her spending on infrastructure, so it's not like he wants to get government out of government spending. He wants to actually double it.
Well, he does want to use the markets, not the government.
He's actually wants to, he wants double her infrastructure spending, not just on the markets with government spending. But I will also...
That's what he wants as a source of the money.
But I will also say to you that the problem for him is he's not going to say what you all have said. He's not going to run with that message. Something's going to happen tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, 3 days from now. Somebody's going to look at him the wrong way. He's going to go off the deep end and start offending them. And it's going to, and nobody's going to be talking about the economy anymore, and they're going to be talking about some gaffe that he continues to make.
There should be a bigger smile on your face. You should be emollient.
I'm next to you. There's always a huge smile on my face. Are you kidding? I'm just getting the afterglow of the Dobbs.
But he is his own worst enemy. I mean, Julie's right about that. If he would be quiet, get out of the way, and lay out a logical economic plan, which he's purportedly about to do, that's a win for him. But he keeps letting her win. If he would let her lose, then he could make it much easier for her.
But I mean, the criticism of his plan, Lou, in the primary was he's not giving specifics. He's not telling us exactly how he's going to grow this economy. A lot of people are going to be looking to this speech for more specifics today, but can he do that without losing the American people who so far, his supporters, have loved his very simple explanation of how he can help middle-class America?
I hope he goes with a simple explanation, something I can follow along, and he will also not diverge from history if he does keep it simple and does keep it away from specificity, because that isn't what presidential nominees do. You know, we have the General Accounting Office, we have the Treasury Department, we have a host of agencies and departments that can do the millwork. This stuff, it's a trap to get into that.
I have to just say, look, every presidential candidate, whether Mitt Romney, George Bush, Barack Obama, go down the list, Ronald Reagan, everybody lays out a plan, a very specific plan. He needs to do that. You need to have people know what they're voting for. Where's the specificity here?
Let me give you some of the bullet points as we've heard about them so far in this speech that's coming out. He's talking about a corporate tax rate of 15%, which obviously takes it down from 35%, which incents corporations.
But let's get into this. If you want specificity, what is the effective corporate rate in this country? It's not 35%, it's 17. Are we supposed to get in a marching band and, march to
Doesn't the effective rate go way down if you reduce the rate on top from 35 to 15?
Not if you eliminate if you eliminate deductions and loopholes.
We don't know that he's going to do that.
He actually has said that he's going to do that. He actually said that he's going to eliminate a bunch of
the news media has to get real. It's a 17% effective corporate rate. It's not 35. So what are we talking about? If you want specificity, let's get into it.
What about proposing a regulatory pause? That sounds pretty exciting to me. I mean, regulation has been one of the main things that has held back corporations and especially small business owners.
That's it. You hit on it exactly, Melissa. It's holding back small businesses. That is one of the biggest barriers to entry for people in this country who have great ideas but cannot get the capital to realize them and start these new businesses. That's what has to happen in this country.
All regulation.
So they can...
Everything. Safety regulation. Food safety regulation, everything.
Safe. I don't need any more safety from the government.
So you want to eliminate
the government has kept me as safe as I possibly need to be.
We're going to go back to the jungle. We're going to be grinding up body parts and hot dogs.
We don't need anything new.
That's what he's proposing. That's what we're going to be doing.
No.
There's specificity, by golly.
We're not adding anything extra.
I just hope he hasn't in any way distanced himself from any element of Senator Jeff Sessions' thinking. He has looked to Sessions as his guru on international trade, on border security and the import, infrastructure, across a whole body of issues. And when he sticks close to what Sessions and he worked out in the early going, he does magnificently.
All right, so as we await this speech, you're looking at a live podium there. We're waiting for Donald Trump to step up. There are indications of a possible reboot for Trump's campaign. This weekend, Mr. Trump finally endorsing the re-elections of Speaker Paul Ryan and Senators John McCain and Kelly Ayotte, following a few days of tension. But that's not all. Trump also seems to be following the advice of his fellow Republicans by laser focusing his attacks on rival Hillary Clinton.
She's a dangerous liar who has disregarded the lives of Americans and who has put all of us at great, great risk. She is unhinged. She's truly unhinged. And she's unbalanced. In one way, she's a monster. Okay? Look at what happened. Look at her history. In another way, she's a weak person.
All right, so Julie's begging me to go to her first on this one. So let me repeat some of the words that he just used to describe his opponent. Unhinged, unfit, a monster even, he's now calling her.
So here's what I'm talking about. Do we just not talk about this? Here is Donald Trump about to lay out, hopefully, a substantive economic plan. What does he do? He steps on his own message by calling the Democratic nominee a monster. Now, you may think Hillary Clinton's an awful human being. You may think Hillary Clinton's wrong on every issue on the planet. You may think Hillary Clinton is not fit to be president. But she's not a monster because she's not a monster. And so the problem here is that all anybody's
That sounded vaguely tautological.
It is incredibly tautological. It's actually the definition of tautology, my friend. But you sound like Bill O'Reilly with the new words that everybody's going to be learning today. But I will say that that's the problem for Donald Trump. He cannot stay on message. Stay on your economic message. Stop with the personal insults. Stop insulting the Gold Star mom. Stop insulting John McCain. Stop insulting the disabled reporter.
All right, so
stay on message.
So Donald, I want to jump in real quick, guys, because Donald Trump's vice presidential pick, Pence, is stepping to the podium. Let's listen in for a second.
Detroit Economic Club. I'm grateful for that warm welcome. It was